internet. I'm Jamie, as always, your host, and this is the Southampton versus Manchester United preview from Old Trafford. The last time the Reds played the Saints, United ran out 3-2 winners in the reverse fixture. However, Manchester United were 2-0 down at half-time. Second half, with goals from Bruno and Cavani, saw the Reds get the win over the Saints with a 92nd minute injury time winner. Going into the form guide for both teams, both have started to stutter a little bit. Manchester United and their title hopes and aspirations are kind of going out the window at the moment, as United seem to have been losing steam recently. With 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss, it doesn't sound so bad for Ollie's men, but when you look at the fact that we lost to Sheffield United, who were bottom of the league while we were top, and we kind of threw away the game against Arsenal in a disastrous ball draw, it kind of feels like we've dropped more points there. We've taken a possible 8 points from 15. Now we look at the Saints. The Saints have drawn 1, won 1 and lost 3. So it's always one of these games that we go into, and it goes one or two ways. Recently, since 2016, there have been 9 games with Man United winning 4 of them and actually drawing 5 of them. So will there be goals across this game? You'd like to think so, but looking at the fixtures that have come before, potentially this may be a draw. So this is the team that I've picked for tonight. I've gone with David De Gea in nets, Luke Shaw, and a much improved Luke Shaw at left back. I've gone with Eric Bailly at centre back to partner with Harry Maguire, who's still played the most minutes across Europe, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. In midfield, we're going with Fred and hopefully Scott McTominay, who has, as far as I know, got over his stomach cramp. Whether or not that's going to play into Ollie's thoughts tonight, where he may use Matic instead, we won't find out until the team news is released. But if I had a choice over who to put in midfield, me personally, I'd put Scottuso, aka McTominay. Then I'd have Rashford, Bruno, and I was a little bit on the fence about this, but I'm going to put Pogba in. I did look at Greenwood, and I even looked at the idea of dropping Rashford for Greenwood and playing Bruno on the left and Greenwood on the right. He's so effective coming off the bench at the moment, especially when teams are starting to tire out. He seems to be full of inventiveness and pace and power. So definitely thinking about, I thought about starting Greenwood, but on this occasion, I'm going Rashford, Bruno and Pogba. And up top, 100% would be the first name on the team sheet for me, Edison Cavani, a.k.a. El Matador, a.k.a. Eddie. There's absolutely no way on this earth I would not start Cavani for this game. Tony Martial has had a few of his own issues recently. Not just on the field, but off the field as well, especially with racist tweets and such, which we'll get to in a short while. However, I think Anthony Martial's form is one of those that you can't play through at the moment. He's pretty much unplayable, but not for the right reasons. I don't think Tony looks overly sharp or interested. I know when he came on against Arsenal, Manchester United looked a bit better because it gave us a bit more licence to create. However, how we didn't beat that Arsenal team when they were missing 3 of their best players, and especially Saka, who's one of the best young English players in the league, let alone one of the best players in the league at the moment. I'm lost for words. I'm genuinely lost for words. We should have beaten Arsenal, or we should have at least gave them a proper game. We are in a position, and let's not kid ourselves, Reds, where we are in a title race or a potential title race, and at the moment we just seem to be slowing down, running out of steam. We've got Liverpool now on our backs. We're still second. Leicester are breathing down our necks, and we just don't seem to be going through the gears like we once were. It's kind of like we've got second, we're done chasing. We should have just kept our foot to the floor and kept going and kept this momentum up. A win tonight against the Saints, against Southampton, would definitely do that. And I think Manchester United need to go out and they need to play their strongest team rather than trying to play people through form. I know Rashi at the moment is a little bit out of form. However, he's still creative enough for me to say play him. Whereas Martial seems devoid of confidence, seems devoid of talent at the moment. And I think he's hurting the team more than he's helping the team. I'm sure Tony will get back to where he needs to be eventually. I just think at the moment, while the pressure is on, it's not the right choice to put Tony up there, especially as the focal point, especially as the man that has to get goals, and he's really struggling to get goals. 2 goals in 17 Premiership appearances is not great by anybody's standards, let alone your main striker or a person who's seen to be your main striker. Looking at the watch list, I genuinely think that Bruno Fernandes is going to be the guy that we need to look at today. I think he hasn't scored a goal from open play from 7 games now, 8 games potentially. He's struggling a little bit with form. A lot of that can be down to fatigue, can be down to tiredness, could also be down to the fact that the expectation's starting to weigh on his shoulders a little bit now. People around him aren't pulling their socks up and pulling him through it. Pogba has done, Rashi not so much, Martial definitely not. And I think he's creating. He's still creating, but I think he's getting a little bit aggrieved or aggravated, frustrated, I think is the word I'm after, with the rest of his teammates, that he's trying to look for these balls and there's nobody on the end of them. Kind of like KDB at Man City, who's full of potential and all full of these passes and will pick that Hollywood pass and will try it 3 or 4 times. However, KDB seems to get them to come off every 1 in 2, whereas Bruno will try 1 in 3 sometimes, 1 in 4. But at least the creativity's there, and you need that creative spark. And I don't think he's feeling inspired at the moment. And this is a little bit of a worry for me with Bruno, that if we're not inspiring him and we're not helping him, that his head will drop. And if his head drops, who is legitimately going to pick up the slack in this Manchester United squad? So I'm putting Bruno on the watch list. I'm expecting good things from Bruno tonight. I'm expecting good things from the whole Manchester United team, to be honest, tonight. We need to get the 3 points on the board. I'm hoping for a result to keep us in the conversation. At least none of us think we're actually going to win the Premier League. We're not that deluded. However, I would like to be in the conversation towards the end of the season. So yeah, Bruno's going on the watch list for tonight's game. So on to the outgoings, the Manchester United players that have now left the club. With the transfer window closing, United have got rid of a few players and we've brought in Diallo. Now, I was going to talk about him, however, I don't know that much about him. I know that Diallo is seen as a massive talent. I know that Alejandro Gomez is a massive fan for Atalanta. Bags of talent, bags of skill, bags of pace. I've even heard chat that he's in the Messi mould of footballers. However, I've not seen anything of him apart from what we saw against Liverpool the other day in the youth setup. So Diallo has come in, but I'm more interested in talking about the outs for Manchester United, which I think are genuinely good for some players, great for Manchester United in one respect, and sad to see a few go. So Jesse Lingard's gone to West Ham, linking up with David Moyes. Absolutely fantastic move for Jesse Lingard. I'm well happy that he's going to get some Premiership minutes, some Premiership football. It's great for Jess to get back into the game. I'm thinking he's going to make a fantastic impact at West Ham, and hopefully do us a favour, take a few points off our rivals, and maybe we'll see Jesse back at Old Trafford one of the days. Fingers crossed. Next, Tahith Chong. Tahith Chong went out to Werder Bremen at the start of the season on loan. He had his loan cancelled by the club, and now he's in the Belgian League for Club Brugge. So good luck to Tahith Chong. The next out is Timothy Fosu Mensah to Bayer Leverkusen. Unfortunately, and I feel a bit sad about this for Timbo. Timbo has been at the club quite a long time. He's been out on loan. He's been to Palace. He's been to Fulham. Come back into Manchester United. He's never actually nailed a spot down. As much as I like Timbo and I genuinely hope him all the best at Bayer, I just don't think he was ever going to cut it at Manchester United, especially in the positions that he was playing. And it's unfortunate that he's no longer with the club. But best of luck, Timbo. Hope it all works out for you, and hopefully we'll see him back in the Premiership one day. Next, Palestri, one of our recent signings. He's now gone out to Alaves. Again, Palestri, he's been doing okay in the youth setup, but we need players like this to go out on loan to get these minutes to make sure that when they come back, potentially for next season, they're ready. We are looking at areas that we're sort of short on or struggling on at the moment. We know that Palestri's a winger, like Diallo's a winger, so it'd be good to get him out there, get him some minutes. I don't know how this fares for Dan James, and I genuinely feel that if we could have got these youngsters in earlier, or maybe they would have proven themselves. Maybe if we'd have got Diallo before January and he'd have proven himself, that Dan James would have been the one that went out on loan. However, it seems that we've got Palestri out on loan to Alaves as well, and Diallo seems to be pushing for a start. So we will look at the Diallo more in depth when we see more of the player. Next up from the youth setup, we're looking at Mengi, Garner, and Laird. All have gone out on loan. we've sent Garner out to Forest. We've sent Laird out to MK Dons, and we've sent Mengi out to Derby. Now I wonder why we've sent out one of our up and coming great defenders at Manchester, good to potentially great defenders at Manchester United to Derby. Could it have something to do with the Wayne Rooney effect? Mengi is a class defender. He's spoken about in all accounts, especially by the likes of Stretford Paddock, the football team itself, Nicky Butt, the coaches, that Mengi is a talent at Manchester United and a talent that we're looking to nurture. I think him going to Derby is fantastic for him. I think it's fantastic for all the guys that we've got out on loan, to be honest. Get them more minutes so they can learn their craft rather than playing in the youth setup or the under-21s, under-23s, and then get them back to the club and get them ready. I don't think it's bad business at all to get these youngsters out. I just hope they don't go the Timbo, the Fosu Mensah route, and we manage to get some of these guys in playing first team football, even if it's as a backup, get them in some of the cup games, and see where their careers and their trajectory of the career lies. And finally, and I genuinely mean this, Rojo is off the books at Manchester United. Thank God for that. I am so happy to see the back of this guy. He's another one of these players that we got off the back of a good World Cup, kind of like Jordi Cruyff and Karol Poborski, that never really lived up to his potential. He was meant to be this all-action defender that came out and, you know, would win the ball and take the man and would take absolutely no shit. Hot-headed Argentinian. The last great Argentinian we had at the club was Gabriel Heinz, and he was an absolute dud. Let's be honest, he had a couple of good games for Manchester United, but he is and was never near the levels we needed him to be. Often used as a left back or a left centre back. It didn't matter where you put Rojo on the pitch. I just genuinely always felt uneasy watching him at Manchester United. He was a red card away or an injury away. Kind of a bit like Bailly, but at least Bailly can defend, whereas Rojo, and I know I'm probably doing him a disservice because there were games where he actually played well for Manchester United, but I just think he's been robbing an absolute living from the club. Akin to somebody like Phil Jones, whether it was injury, whether it was mentality, he needed to go, and I'm so glad we've finally got him off the books. That's £110,000 a week saved in wages. So, Rojo, while we thank you for pulling on the Manchester United shirt when it was needed, please don't let the door hit your arse on the way out. And that's the outgoings and the incoming for Manchester United. And so, with saying that, I need to put my energy into something else. And while there has been a lot of energy so far in this video and a lot of it all positive, I didn't do a video for the warm down after the Arsenal game because I just thought it was such a drab game. There wasn't much for me to talk about. But then social media happened. Marcus Rashford received racist tweets after the game. He's not the only player to be receiving these recently. We've had the likes of Martial receiving these tweets, Paul Pogba receiving these tweets, players of colour at Manchester United. And it's not just Manchester United, it's other players at other clubs, and it's happening more and more and more. Now, I don't want to get preachy, and I don't want to turn this into a video about racism and people being racist and what we need to do to stop it. But the fact is, we need to do something to stop it. It has to stop. A player's ability is not interlinked with the colour of their skin. If you shit, you shit. Being white or black doesn't make you bad at football. Lack of effort, lack of talent, lack of impact, lack of application, lack of skill. These sort of things make you bad at a certain discipline, whatever the discipline is. But for this occasion, we're going to talk about football. Just because Marcus is black doesn't mean that's the reason why he had a bad game against Arsenal. Just because Paul Pogba is black doesn't mean that is why he had a bad game against Wolves. Just because Tony Marshall is black, it does not mean he's having a bad season because he's black. He's just having a bad season. Like I spoke about in one of the last ones that I did with mental health and Lingard, if people are small-minded, narrow-minded, nasty enough to pick apart the colour of your skin, there needs to be something done about it. It's too easy for people to hide behind social media, to hide behind their Instagram, to hide behind their Twitter, to make fake handles. And I'm not the only person saying this, and I'm sure everybody's heard this, but to hide behind all this and attack people of colour, to attack in general, and it needs to stop. It desperately needs to stop. If you're signing up for an account, you should be able to prove you are who you are. There's verification processes for all sorts of apps. There's verification processes for when dating apps, for instance, where you have to verify pictures of yourself by taking pictures of yourself, and then they're linked in with the pictures that you've posted, and that way you're verified. So you're not seen as some sort of stalker or serial killer. Why can't we do the same thing on Facebook? Why can't we do the same thing on Twitter? And especially Twitter, where it seems to be a breeding ground for hate at the moment. Why can't we impose fines on people? Why can't we track people down for using vile and vitriolic language and name calling and the deluge of absolute, and pardon my French, fucking bollocks that people come out with just to attack a person's colour, attack a person's creed, attack a person's fucking human right. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And I saw some of the tweets. I've put it this way: I went on Google to have a look at this picture, to find this picture for Marcus Rashford to say United against racism. And when I typed in Marcus Rashford racism tweet, I saw other people that had written stuff to the likes of Paul Pogba. And one of the comments that I saw, and it blows my mind, was a Manchester United fan, and I use that very, very loose. I'm doing the bunny ears when I say that. A Manchester United fan had put on there, sometimes some people deserve racism. Nobody deserves racism. And for somebody to think like that absolutely disgusts me. As a person, as a human being, where has it fallen down? And where is this person in their life had such an awful interaction with a person of colour that they think people deserve racism? It's absolutely disgusting, and it needs to stop. And if you are one of these fans, back of the internet doesn't support you. If you are one of these fans, the club doesn't support you. The club is embarrassed to have you as a fan. And if you're one of these fans, the players don't support you. The thing is with social media, it is very, very easy to hide when you're not in the spotlight. It's harder to hide from the spotlight when you are in it. So to you racists, to all you disgusting human beings that thinks it's absolutely fine to send tweets like this, to say these sort of things in forums, to post that sort of shit on social media. I do hope one day, and I genuinely do hope one day, that this is phased out of football and this is phased out of humanity in general. You disgusting, horrible, horrible humans. And I think using the term human is actually offensive to people who have humanity. So for all the Man United players, all the players of colour, people of colour in general, everybody standing up, Black Lives Matter, staying united against racism in general. I stand with you, and back in the internet stands with you, and here's hoping that one day, this completely and utterly disappears. For my children, for my children's children, for your children's children, everybody else, back in the internet is with you. So anyway, guys, that was the preview. Sorry it got a bit heavy at the end, but like I say, I'm very passionate about this. I don't think it's fair that players are being signalled out because of their colour. I'm trying not to be preachy, and I know we live in a society where people are often perceived as being snowflakes or being easily offended. This is one of the sort of things that it's not a case of being easily offended. This is a case of it's a human right to be what you are. It's a human right to be how you are. And if people can't deal with that, and people are that disgusting and want to target the colour of your skin, then what's snowflakey about that? It's just wrong. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm appalled. As a Manchester United fan, I'm appalled. And genuinely, if you are fans of the club, or you say you are fans of the club, and you think that's right, the club don't want you, we don't want you, United fans don't want you, the football community doesn't want you, and we'd be better off without you. So please, 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 disassociate yourself from the club, because the whole idea is Manchester United, not divided by bigots who have such an outdated opinion and a wrong opinion. Fucking scumbags. Anyway, that's Manchester United versus Southampton. Sorry for going on that rant at the end. Just needed to be said. Got that off my chest. Manchester United versus Southampton. Score prediction. I'm going 2-1 Manchester United. We need a result. Anyway, I'm Jay from Back of the Internet. This has been the warm-up. A much longer video because I've had more time to do it. And as always, we move. Peace.